Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. I know it's been a little bit since I've uploaded anything, been trying to actually come up with some new stuff, but this morning I'm going to make some oatmeal raisin cookies. Actually, they're going to be kitchen sink cookies if anybody knows what those are. It's an oatmeal raisin cookie recipe, but I'm actually going to edit it a little bit to make kitchen sink cookies. And all kitchen sink cookies are is you take a lot of stuff, so you put like nuts, cranberries, raisins. So honestly, it's going to be pretty close to an oatmeal raisin cookie, but I'm going to add some cranberries. So you can also do like, chocolate chunks or white chocolate if you like it. I don't think I'm going to do that today, but we're going to go ahead and get started. So you actually blend together all of your dry ingredients first. You're going to do your flour, you're going to do some salt, and you're going to do some baking soda. You're going to actually whisk those together, so we're going to do that now. So for this recipe, you're going to use 1 cup flour. And the flour, although I tend to like to just scoop it out with the measuring cup, we're going to actually do it properly, I guess. We're going to go in, we're going to scoop it out with a spoon, and we're going to level it off. That's what was recommended with this recipe. A little collapsible cup. Do this over here so I don't make a mess. Probably about half cup. And for the flour, I really like to use unbleached flour when I bake, so I use it in my cakes and everything. I like it a lot better than the bleached. A little bit more. But you can use whatever you prefer. Let's see here, should be about a cup. I didn't think I had enough flour, but apparently I do. Got another one just in case. Put flour in there. Use a cup of flour. Then I'm going to need you're going to actually use a ½ teaspoon of your salt, or not salt, baking soda. Is a leavening agent, and then we're going to get some salt, which I'll measure out over here so I don't make a mess. Got that in there. So we're done with those ingredients. You just want to whisk them together. Kind of blend them together. Actually set this aside because this will get added in the next step. That should be good enough. Set this over here for now. So next thing you want to do is you want to actually blend together your butter and your sugars that we're going to use. So I decided to try out these Country Crock baking sticks because they don't actually have to soften at room temperature. You can just use them. They have unsalted and they have salted. So we're going to actually use those today. You can use butter, of course. So we're going to need this. We're going to also need our brown sugar, and you're going to need some granulated sugar as well. So, since I don't have to soften this, you can use a hand mixer, but if you have a stand mixer like my KitchenAid here, that'll make life a whole lot easier. I'm just going to open it up. You need a ½ cup of butter. So this is ½ cup. A whole stick is going to be ½ cup. And open this up, and we're going to get it in here. Granulated sugar, you're only going to need a 1/4 cup of it. Here we go. You're going to need a ½ cup of brown sugar. that's enough sugar. I'm gonna add a little bit more brown sugar. About 1/4 is what I'm measuring out. So then you're gonna go ahead and blend this together or cream it together, and that's gonna be for probably about 2 minutes. So let that run. Says use a mixture with a paddle attachment, which that's what this is, but it still wants to stick, so I'm going to actually break it off of there so that it can blend better. While we're waiting, I'm going to go ahead and rinse this stuff off. And you can use butter, like I said. It'll actually give you a little bit more flavor, but I kept seeing a commercial for these bacon sticks. I really wanted to try them. I know sometimes letting the butter get to room temperature can be a pain, especially if you forget to take it out and you're sitting there waiting for it. So in theory, these things are a great idea to use. There's been tons of times that I've actually forgotten to take my butter out and I get ready to make something and I have to wait an hour or so until it softens down, or throw it in the microwave to try to defrost it. This is actually doing a great job. Only thing is it starts to stick on the paddle, as you can see here, so it's actually probably ready. I'll let it go for another few seconds, and then we'll add in the next ingredients. Bring that up. You're going to use 1 egg. And I always do the organic cage-free, or at least I get cage-free. I think they have a lot better taste than the white eggs. Put the whole egg down in there. Yolk. And you're also going to do 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So I'll use one of my little fancy beakers. And this one's actually a teaspoon, so measure it out. So you're going to mix those 2 things in until it's fully blended. Let it go. And when I'm cooking, I have a tendency to want to put stuff away as I'm going. Makes it a little bit easier. Actually, there's one thing that we left out of the flour mixture. When you have time to go back and do it, you're going to need a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon blended in with that as well. time, so we'll just mix it in with our flour mixture. Pretty simple. The whisking also helps keep this from clumping, so that actually looks like it's blended down really nicely. And what I usually like to do when I'm working with dry ingredients added into my bowl, I've got this little shield that makes it a little bit easier to add stuff. So I'll put that right there. Also use a spoon, dry it off. That looks really good. One thing we can come in and do actually, which I like to do sometimes because what'll tend to happen is this stuff will start sticking in the bowl. So I'll just take my spatula and kind of move it off of the edge. Difficult getting back here. So you're going to go ahead and gradually add this. So I'll put it on about probably stir, so lowest setting. You can pour, but sometimes I find it's easier just to use a spoon to kind of heave it in there. As I go, turn that up a little bit higher. Last little bit I'll just pour in there, so that should be all of that. Want the sink to be washed. Turn that back down to a stir, so just let it kind of go low. Now, you're going to add your more solid ingredients. You're going to add your oats. Now, this calls for a cup of raisins, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to split it. So I'm going to do some cranberries in here since I'm making kitchen sink cookies. So I'm going to do a half a cup of each of those. And I'm also going to add to that a half a cup of pecans. But you can do walnuts if you like them, but I tend to prefer pecans. So you need to measure out 1.5 cups of the oats, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm actually going to get some paper bowls because I'm going to measure out what we need for the raisins and the cranberries and set them off to the side. So half a cup of each of those. Almost this whole thing of cranberries. Like that. Golden raisins. I tend to like golden raisins better than regular raisins for some weird reason. These would be the white grapes that end up becoming the golden raisins. Those together. And then I'll go ahead and do a half a cup of the pecan. And these are chips, which for this particular instance may work a little bit better than chopped since they're finer. provide you guys with the link so you can have everything set up already if you want to pre-measure. So 1.5 cups of these oats. I'm going to scoop that down in there, so that's my 1/2 cup. And these are going to start to stick around the edge, so what you're going to want to do with this is you're going to take that spatula and kind of move them down. Go ahead and add that whole 1/2 cup. Let's see if I can get my full cup. I'm going to shake off the excess, which that should be a cup. Nice even open of them. Look at it and you can tell when it starts to stick. Add a little bit of these and then I'll start actually using a spatula to scrape the sides. So it's starting to turn into a ball on the mixing paddle. I'm going to turn it off. Come here, we're going to start scraping these off. Just kind of blending this down in like I did before, trying to loosen it off the sides. Back on the lower setting. Oh, I should turn it up a little bit. And then go on ahead and add the rest of those oats. This, so I'll put it in the sink. It's sticking pretty good, so move that off. And we're going to scrape, scrape, scrape. I'll go ahead and wash some of these items. So next, I'm going to just get the nuts and the raisins and cranberries folded in. Pretty straightforward. That's pretty incorporated. So next I'll just go ahead and add the raisins in. Actually, just do it like that. Whenever I make these, they make my mixer kind of buck a little bit because it's such a thick dough. Much easier to use a stand mixer than doing this by hand, that's for sure. And I'm just going to dump all of these in there. And kind of mix those together. Struggling a little bit because it's so thick. Honestly, at this point, I think it's folded them in enough, so I can actually probably just turn this off and then finish this off by hand. See how all that sticks. try to get as much of this off of the paddle as we can. Paddle off. I wanted to try to get as much of this off as I possibly could. Take the bowl off of here. Now I'll kind of come in and kind of move it off. Scrape. Now I'm going to check and see if I have something else to add to these, which I don't think I do. And I don't. Sometimes a nice white chip, white chocolate chip is good in these too, so this actually looks really good. It looks like it mixed it all the way down through, which is great. Now the next step, is you're going to cover this with some plastic wrap really tightly, and you're going to put it into the refrigerator for 30 minutes. Then after you get it out of the refrigerator, take a cookie sheet, which I'm sure everybody knows. Get your cookie sheet. You can put parchment paper on here to keep it from sticking. I also really like the Reynolds non-stick so that they're nice and easy to come off. If you have it, it makes life a lot easier. This is a scoop for cookies, so you just kind of dip that in there. It's got the little handle where it'll pop it out, and you can put it on the pan. So that's really it for the recipe. Pretty simple. I mean, there's a few ingredients, of course. So this done, and you should have some nice soft and chewy either oatmeal raisin cookies if you decide not to put the cranberries and the pecans in and use a full cup, or you can make kitchen sink cookies. So thanks for tuning in. If you guys have any questions or comments, please put them below, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks, guys.